Hi everyone, in today's videos I will show you the easiest, most reliable way to build an elevator in UEFN. No verse, no complex logic, no headaches. This system uses only buttons and prop movers and the mechanics are very stable. No glitches, no delays, no weird behavior. It's completely bulletproof and works every single time. The elevator travels smoothly between levels and it stops each level. Simple, clean, solid. You can create these in only 5 minutes once you know all the steps and you practice it a couple of times. So let's jump into it. I will show you all the details. Before getting into the mechanics and how everything works, I will show you how this elevator actually works. Okay, so as I showed you before, there's the elevator here, there's a control panel, and then a few buttons. So I will show you, very simple. You get in, there's a button that says up, we're going up. That's just one level. There's one button here that allow us to go down, and vice versa. If we change location and we're going from above, if I can do it, and we're going from here, I created a panel that you can call up the elevator. This button is not active this now, and I will show you later why. We can call up the elevator to this level. And same thing if we were downstairs. This button over here now is not active. And we got this one here, this panel that allow us to call down the elevator. So in this way, it's a very simple and clean mechanic where it will not create any glitches. It's very straightforward and then is very simple to play with. Okay, so let's jump into how we can obtain this kind of mechanic with just only 2 prop movers and a few buttons. Okay, let's jump into it. So obviously for the purpose at the moment I just placed one elevator prop over here. That can be anything, can be a piece of floor, can be whatever you want. Okay, you can turn anything into an elevator, to be honest. I put like a little panel over here. Actually technically there is 2, so there is 1 and 2 over here, and I placed 2 prop movers, one that is with direction up and one with direction go down. So as you can see here, I always keep things quite tidy and I rename everything every single time. So prop mover, I call it elevator up. This one here is elevator down. And then if we're looking into the buttons, there will be one main button here, which is the button up. And then if we're going up here, there is another button over here, which is button down. Look, I call it button down too, but you can call it whatever you want. Here there is call up elevator button, and here call down button. So you name it like you want, there is no problem. Like as far as it makes sense for you, that's all good. And it's simple as that. So this is like all you need to make the mechanics work. How does it work? Very simple. If we're looking into the prop movers first, and we're looking to all the mechanics over here, the main thing to keep in mind is obviously the movement mode. I put translation. If you scroll down, this is actually one of the most important thing. When you're looking into the distance, I know you're going up, I always prefer into tiles rather than metric. I don't know, I find it easier. One tile is one tile, you know what I mean? There is way to figure out how much meters is one tile. We can look into another day, but at the moment I put tiles. So, and I put 0.75. This is because technically once the elevator goes up and you really want to make sure is flush to this floor over here, you need to go a little bit less than one tile, and 0.75 I found is a perfect distance. Okay, speed, I always make them go quite slow, so 0.25 is really good. And you know, all these kind of mechanics, you know, I put continue, collision, 0 damage. I don't want to have those annoying things, so I want to have like a smooth experience for the player. And then pretty much over here advance, button up on interact, and button call up elevator on interact. Pretty much the elevator is gonna go up if one button or two buttons get pressed. In this case is button up, which is this one here. That trigger and it goes up, and I put advance. In the other case, if you're up here and you want to call up the elevator, this is the call up elevator, which is right here. Okay, so these two pretty much are the only two buttons that will make moving up the elevator. I didn't put any reverse, any other stuff like that, because for the purpose and the way I like to do things, if you call up the elevator stays in the final position and it stays there. There is advanced techniques you can do. You can reverse once the path is finished. That creates few complications, which I will not cover this now, so I'm gonna keep it very simple for today. Okay, same thing with the prop mover going down. So in this case, same thing, you got button down and button call down. So in this case is this one here, which is sorry, everything glitched. Where are we? Over here. So button down, which is this one here. And then the other one that will activate this prop mover is this one here. And this is in case the elevator is at the level above and you want to call it down or you want to move down. Okay, simple as that with the prop movers. There's nothing else that needs to be done. It's very simple. Just advance and done. And you stop when the movement is finished, which is one of the function over here. Path complete action, none. That is for both of them. Okay, so if we look into the buttons, we already covered that this one activate this one activate this one, and the same thing from above. This one and this one are the one that move down the elevator or call up. Very, very simple. Okay, and then if you were looking into the mechanics of the buttons, you rename it as you want. Interaction time I put 2 seconds. I like that, you're pressing for a little bit, and then no delay, no reset delay, none of this stuff. Enable. Now this is the important part. So do not mess with things. You don't want to have every single button enabled at every single time. So considering that this is the start position, okay, this button down at the bottom, it is enabled at game start, which makes sense. Okay, so pretty much is always enabled. Now this also get disabled once the prop mover elevator up, which is this one here, have the movement finished. So what you don't want is when the elevator goes up at the level above, that somebody mess with this. You can press this and it's all crazy. So pretty much you deactivate this button when this movement is finished. And you enable back this when this one here complete its path down. I hope it makes sense. Pretty much always activated from the beginning. It gets disabled when it goes up, and it gets enabled when this goes down and reach the path. This one, if we're looking into enable at game start, that is not enabled at the game start. So obviously if these two were enabled at the beginning, it would be a problem. It would mess up with the mechanics. This is disabled at the beginning. Okay, this only activates if the elevator finish its path and reach the above level. In that case, this gets enabled when the elevator up movement finish, and it gets disabled when this elevator reach back to this level over here. So it's pretty much is an inverted sequence that allow you to not mess up with mechanics. If somebody uses the elevator and go up, it just doesn't create any issue. And the same thing apply for these two buttons. If we're looking into the details, this one, which is the button down, so pretty much it only activates to go down. Same thing, that is only enabled when the elevator up finish the movement, and is disabled when the elevator down finish the movement. Now, is this enabled at the beginning? No, this is not enabled at the beginning, and this it is enabled at the beginning. So it's inverted. Now, reason, obviously, if a player arrive here for some reason in this occasion and the elevator is here and want to call this up because the first position is downstairs, that means this button needs to be always enabled at the game start. So just to recap, this button over here and this button over here, they are the ones that are enabled at the game start. This one and this one, they are not. They always get enabled and disabled depending on where the elevator is or where is the path completed. Okay, and simple as that. So if you look into like all the mechanics, pretty much very simple. When you interact with the button, send a signal to the prop movers elevators. So if you will look into this mechanic now, this is the beginning. On interact, obviously you activate this one to go up. This one, on interact, it activates this one here. It advances that because you're calling down the elevator. If you look into this one, on interact, elevator down, and in this one, elevator up. And that's it. Pretty much this is one of the simplest way that it is not very complex. It takes a little bit of logic. I got to think about what could go wrong, and that's the reason why I've done it like that. I'm pretty sure there are a million other ways to do elevators, and this is just like a simple version to go from point A to B. The elevator stop at the level, let's say this is ground level, and then you go level 1 up here. It goes from ground level to level 1. And it stops. And then if somebody else wants to use it, needs to call it down or up or vice versa. So this is bulletproof. There will not be any issue ever whatsoever, like with I don't know, weird stupid stuff where you're pressing the button and it goes in another level or whatever. Okay. If you want to make multiple levels, there is few things to consider, which I will probably cover in another video, but for the moment this is the basics. So try have a crack. Let me know how it works. If you got any issues, any problems, and then if nothing or something is not clear, drop a comment. Let me know how you find it, and then just have fun with it. Okay, thanks so much guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Leave comments, tell me how you're feeling about everything, and then we'll take it from there. Bye bye.